Okay, we're live. So here we are. How you
Hey,
doing, Chris?
doing good, doing good.
Well, what's going on? There's like zero viewers. I mean, we can't do any worse than when Jennifer's here. Well, clearly she's the star of our show by the viewer count right now.
Clearly.
Well, I'm guessing that people are
Well,
watching the elections in Georgia.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting to see what the outcome is.
It certainly is. Well, it seems like we're catching up. People are joining. And for those of you who don't know, this is The Right Stuff. And I am now with Chris Cuddy. And he is my co host because Jennifer took a powder. She wanted more money in her contract. And I told her absolutely not.
Well, and I work for pasta, so it's all good.
Yeah, it was easy. All right, here's our OG, Lucille Chavone. Jen is at a policeman's benefit dinner tonight. So we thought that it would be fun to have our wonderful, wisecracking, smart-ass commenter and viewer, Chris, sit in her seat. How's it feel to be in the hot seat, Chris?
Oh, it's hot for sure. Jen has some big shoes to fill.
Well, she's a
So,
size 10,
It'll work out.
It'll work. It'll be fun.
Well, I'm a 15, so maybe it's hard to squeeze into.
Wow. That's some tough talk coming from Chris. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Margie says hello, Chris. Lucille says hello, Chris. So it looks like everything's working, Chris. It looks like our comments are coming in. Our viewers are here. Oh, and here's Mom. Say, wait, hi, Turkey? Do you know my mom? Is that her pet name for you? Hi, 30. She's calling you 30. Oh. Hi there.
Hi there.
Okay. Hi, Mom. Well, Chris, do you know what time it is?
7:02?
No, it's time for The Right Stuff. A half inch means a lot sometimes.
This pumpkin latte sucks, and I want to speak to your manager.
How much is the economy today? Oh, it's that much.
Objection, hearsay. Objection, leading. Objection, hearsay.
Where is that woman when Biden speaks?
So here we are. It's official. You are now part of the cast, Christopher. Thank you very much for filling in.
Good to be here.
We would love to have you. So what's going on in Pennsylvania? Tell us about Fetterman. Tell us what's going on.
Well, just like I've commented, now that the election's over, I haven't heard a thing about him. It's as if he had dropped off the face of the earth. For the election, yeah, I only wish. Yeah, like during the whole election, everything was Fetterman, even in the mail. And suddenly, TV, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even a peep from him regarding anything that he's planning to doing. And I don't know if maybe it's the area. My news network might not care for him much. But yeah, it's as if he doesn't exist.
Yeah, we could only wish. Too bad he does exist, and too bad he exists now in the U.S. Senate. I still don't understand how that happened. It's crazy stuff. Bobby is with us. Hello, Bobby. Good to see you. Curtis Cutler. Hi. We are fighting Adams and need help. Can I post a link? Absolutely. And the professor is with us. So good to have everybody here. So Chris, tonight's show is called Interference, and man, oh man, has there been interference. I mean, you've been following, right? The 2020, they call us election deniers, even though in 2016,
Yeah,
They denied Trump.
Of course, it's okay when they do. When we do, it's a different story. But yeah, it's amazing.
Well, Lucille, we have a clip about Biden going to the border. But we're going to play it in a minute. Hold on a second. Let's see what Curtis has to say.
Oh, wow.
Fund the suit against Mayor Adams for denying us our constitutional rights and discriminating against. Oh, okay. So it's COVID. Got it. Listen, I know firsthand about lawsuits. We sued de Blasio. I paid $35,000 of my own retirement fund to sue him. Unfortunately, and Curtis, go for it. But I can tell you right now that the judges in New York are so damn liberal that if the news media doesn't tell them it's okay to find a certain way, they're not going to do it. So, but I wish you all the luck. If anybody wants to contribute, get
definitely
on Curtis's GoFundMe. The Twitter follicle. Yes, we're going to talk about the Twitter follicle. We are going to talk about
Uncle Elon right there.
Elon. All right, but before we do, as promised, last week, Mother, are you there, Mother? Last week, I promised you the very, very important video on the debate between handkerchiefs and paper towels. So I'm going to play this clip, and then, Chris, you're going to weigh in and tell me what you prefer. Here we go. Okay, so we're in the hospital with Mom. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, and here's Pops. Say hi, Pops.
Hi.
Pops.
Dr. Pops.
Dr. Pops.
They forced me to wear this.
Yeah. And we're discussing handkerchiefs.
Yes.
So, and
Cloth handkerchiefs.
Cloth handkerchiefs.
To blow your nose with a handkerchief or paper towels. That's discussion.
That's the discussion.
So we would like people's opinions on this matter.
A real gentleman has a cloth handkerchief. But when a gentleman has a cold,
A gentleman. Who said
he should
anything
use
about,
paper towels.
Who said anything about gentlemen?
I wasn't talking about you. We're taking a poll.
We're taking a poll. Pops, where do you fall on the side of this subject?
A regular handkerchief.
Okay.
Yes, that's what they were made for. That's what they were made for. Not somebody's snot on a
It's true.
paper towel.
It's true.
Okay.
I believe that.
All right.
But not when you have a cold.
And I would like one other opinion. Do you think I should let a 75-year-old woman punch the hell out of me? Just because I'm 80 don't mean she should beat me up.
Wait a minute. Are they giving opinions, Jim?
I don't know. Yeah, they've all given thumbs up, but nobody's actually said
Thumbs up
yet.
for what?
Well, let's see. Lisa Latanzia says, "Wow, you look like your mom. God bless." Can I say tissue there? But now we have tissues in the mix. Thank you,
okay.
Lisa Price. And Lisa, that's
Tissues
true.
are too small.
Tissues are too small.
That's why I use paper towels.
Okay.
Tissues are too small.
When you have when your nose is a very large part of your face.
Yes.
You need something larger than a tissue,
Yes.
Lisa. But thank you for writing in that answer.
That's great.
They're a hoot. So, tissues, paper towel, cloth, what?
Well, it all depends. For me, I can go any which way there is. Personally, Bounty is the best picker-upper. So, I don't mind using a paper towel to just, blow my nose, especially when I have a cold. Handkerchiefs are nice if you're in a suit. That's the only time I'll ever wear one. If I have a suit, it just goes with the whole thing. Now, on the rare occasions, just like a kid would, you always have your sleeve at the worst case if you have nothing at the ready. So
The sleeve, the dreaded sleeve. So Angela says cloth. Cynthia says paper towels are the best. You all are just sucking up to my mother. How cute are they? Tissues. Lucille's in a tissue box. Oh, tissue box.
tissues break apart. They break apart too easily.
Especially if you're Italian, right? With these schnozzes, you get
with this, exactly.
you blow into a tissue and the guy next to you is Tommy Bellata's with us. Hiya, Tommy. Yeah, your weekly dose of sanity. Oh my God. Tommy, if you're looking to us for sanity, life must be bad.
Now, but I will say this: the only time I could respect someone having a handkerchief outside of a suit is with facial hair, because it always breaks up, it crumbles up, and you don't notice it. So that's the only time I think I could respect somebody using a handkerchief across the board.
Okay, that's true. That's very, very true. But what do you do with it when you're done? You put it back in your pocket? I mean,
You take it, you use one corner, and then you fold it up real nice, and then you have a whole nother section. You go here, fold it up again. You could work around it.
Good point. That's how they used to back in the 1700s. They used to have these napkins that were enormous. They were like the sizes of tablecloths. And that's because they didn't wash everything, so they would use one quarter. Okay, I gotcha. All right, that's good.
Yeah, they probably made mistakes too and used them as children's diapers too. Back then they had the cloth diapers.
That's true. Oh, I remember those days. One good thing about masks is food service industry. Okay, well, I agree with that. But you never know what they're doing. Oh, God, I got it. So they can't spend your food. I love the professor. He just puts it out there and you got to figure it out afterwards. Hello, Tommy. All right. What do with the handkerchief after use? What do you do with the paper towel after you use it? Why keep the germs? Yeah, you could throw out the paper towel, but Chris explained to us, the mechanics of a handkerchief.
It's a technique.
It's a technique.
There's a whole technique behind it.
All right, Bobby Dutcher's with you. Exactly what I do. What is exactly what you do? Is handkerchiefs, paper towels. Oh, you're all right. I'm catching up. I got it. Happy birthday, Howie. Okay, happy birthday, Howie. A gentleman hands a lady his handkerchief when she's crying. Lucille, that if the person is under 40 years old, they're crying all the time these days. So we can start a whole nother industry of making handkerchiefs. Do we have gentlemen?
Well, at the same time, a real gentleman would also give a nice hug, and if it gets again, you got the sleeve, so they can wipe their tears right there and go with it.
So we're going back to the sleeve.
Hey,
sleeves get
more than one use. Everything has more than one use.
Yeah, you're such a boy. You're such a man. It's true. I mean, listen, when in doubt, you got the sleeve, but then you got to walk around with. Okay.
Technicalities.
This conversation is spiraling fast. So from our snap poll here, it seems that paper towels are the way to go. So, and we've got a couple of votes for handkerchief. Well, it's close between paper towels and handkerchief. We had one tissue and we had Chris's sleeve. All right. So we added sleeves to the mix. Okay. So we're 15 minutes in and we didn't even get to the Fauci Award. So we're going to go into the Fauci Award today. And the Fauci Award is to all media, digital and legacy media, who are trying to sell us a narrative. And the newest narrative is about drag queens. And you might have seen that there's drag queen story hour, drag queen this. It's all to get us accustomed to transgender. So let's hear from a drag queen herself what she thinks.
The Fauci Award for Gullible People.
There really wasn't until 10 years ago where I said, you know what, I think I want to try to perform. I finally got enough nerve and I did it and I enjoyed it. I saw that it was going in the direction of bringing kids into drag. And I just don't think it's right. I know it sexualizes children. And it's an adult space. And why would anybody want a child in an adult space? The drag room is basically like a men's locker room, for lack of a better description. And there's underage drinking, there's alcohol, there's drugs. I just don't understand why a parent, and it's typically the mother, would drag their kid to a drag show. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think like I said, the responsibility is on the parent. The drag queen is just working. They're just working. It'd be like a woman stripping in a strip bar and they bring their kid in. Me as a modest person and one who cares about the over-sexualization of children, I would stop performing and I would just walk off the stage. It's the LGBTQ community who will attack me and they'll report all of my material and content. And eventually I'll just get kicked off of social media. I'm back today. I'm getting hate from the transgender community because they think I mock the transgender community. And you know, I think a lot of it's just sport. People like to fight and argue. And as far as I know, I am permanently banned from Twitter. I have tried to get back on. I can't. TikTok's more forgiving. You can go on there and start new accounts, but I have been deplatformed from Facebook before. The only reason why I have an account is because I had someone on the East Coast create an account for me, and then they sent me all the information to get it. But there are ways around. They're really pushing the transgender agenda, and you know, just because I think the whole LGBT community then gets lumped in with it. I honestly think it's pushed by pharmaceutical companies, because I mean, medicine is right there to support it. And of course, they're the ones that are there to make all the profit from surgeries, hormones, puberty blockers, things like that. And even detransitioning. There are people who do detransition that people don't talk about.
Let's see. How do you women do this? There we go.
You're gonna put your eye out with that thing.
Yeah, how you women do this, I can never imagine, let alone a guy being able to pull that off. And then, wait, hold on. Another use for a napkin.
Wait, you just blew your nose on that thing.
Nope, that was this one.
Okay, I want to know how you knew how to block. We need to talk.
Hey, I have two daughters and a wife. I have an idea.
Well, needless to say, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Lucille's giving you tips. Eyelash curler first. That's why you were poking yourself. So what do you think about this drag queen who is actually coming out against parents bringing their children to drag shows, and she's being deplatformed on social media for it?
Well, you know, I think she is brave. I guess she whatever the right term would actually be. I think it's very brave because you're pretty much getting bashed around, but you're sticking to your guns, you're sticking to your morals. It's not for kids. Yeah. You know, like you go to Vegas, you go to all these drag shows. I mean, even in what's it called? Like The Birdcage. You know, great movie, but you don't see kids in there. You know, it's all adults. It's having fun. It's all about enjoying, performing. Yeah. So to drag kids into this, it's absurd.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, obviously, it is up to the parents, but as she said, or she should take it. Not going to be so easy getting the mascara off. I hope your wife doesn't look in. I wonder what the heck is going on.
Yeah, She'll think I took up a second job on the city.
Just as long as there's no kid. Putin just signed into law something about this subject. Peter, tell us what the law said. Lucille already told you that. Eyelash curler first. Then drag queen is one of the same ones. Wait till they can make their choice. Right. Absolutely. See, I think that what we forget is that when you're talking about transgender, when you're talking about heterosexual, homosexual, gay, lesbian, whatever, we're talking about sex. That's what we're talking about, and sexual preference. A 3-year-old does not know about sex, nor should they know about sex, right? That's an adult thing. I mean, for God's sakes, that's why we have pedophile laws. That's why we have all kinds of laws. So to try and make it normal to talk to a toddler about sex, that's what
they're bringing it into the schools too.
Yeah.
They're making it general studies in some schools, like in elementary, let alone.
I remember I was 15, I think, and they started teaching sex ed in school. And to me, that was smart because around 13, right? Some people a little earlier, but basically around 13 is when kids start really understanding, that they have urges and, sexual urges or whatever. So to be able to talk about sex, safe sex, how to protect yourself, whatever, I get it. I absolutely get it. But when I was a kid, the parents had to sign, that you were allowed to take sex ed in school.
Yeah.
Now it's in grade school. And, I agree with her that this is the sexualization of children. And this is a problem, not just in this country, England, everywhere. Well, not everywhere, because in Iran it would never happen, right? And I think the professor's going to tell us what's going on. There's somebody right now that can actually talk about it. Hey, John, just so that you know, John he makes his time, not money, time, to save children from molestation. He has.
Oh, wow.
He's a PI, and he's gotten involved in this, and this is a priority for him, number one priority for him, to save children from molestation.
Hats off to him for that.
He's a fantastic guy. And he could tell us what happens when you sexualize children from a very early age. It's very, very ugly. Brave ones, not sane ones. That's the truth. And Elizabeth, it should be left up to the parents to discuss with the children under 13. I agree.
100%.
I mean, I don't understand the push.
I would even go as far as 18, in my opinion, or at least like senior year of high school, 17, 18. I would even push that. My daughter's 13. Like, that's not her choice yet.
Yeah, it's
in my opinion.
Well, but parents, when you're talking at home, you could see if the kid is ready, if something's going on with the kid, and you could bring it up at the appropriate time. But to start sexualizing children in kindergarten and first and second and third, even third and fourth grade, it puts on their shoulders a whole bunch of stuff that shouldn't be on their shoulders. Kids should be worried about getting good grade in school, winning the spelling bee, learning their vowels. Go ahead.
Yeah. Plus, they're in the middle of just starting to learn their emotions and feelings about anything and everything. Like they're all out of control. So you throw an extra thing or two in the mix, like they don't know if they're coming or going. Then, it just makes it even more confusing of what they're actually going through at 13, 14, even 15 for that matter.
It's true. It's true. Bad side to this too, grooming is now the assault rifle of the right. The only time they are caring about children protection is when the left is endangering them. We need it looked at apolitically. Agreed, 100%. My question is not why would parents waste want the kids to see the performance. Oh, want the kids to see the performance, but why would the performers want to perform in front of children? Good point, Tom. And she said it too.
Yeah.
She's modest. She'd leave if there was a child in the audience, because for her, they don't belong there. Not acceptable at early childhood. Yeah. Agreed. So we need more
it's just
people.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, but I think it goes to everything we're talking about today, in that social media deplatformed her, because she now is a drag queen, right? That's her profession. She doesn't say whether she's gay or not, but that's her profession. She knows about it. She says it's not appropriate. It's up to the parents, of course, but it's not appropriate. And as a performer, she feels weird about it, and they deplatformed her. Now the question is why? What is this move to making children adults, in infancy, basically?
Well, they're probably just turning around, and one, like it was said in the video, it's money.
Yeah,
it's straight out money, because if they get depressed because of something, you have prescriptions for that. If something else turns around, you got prescriptions for that. If they decide to convert, let's just say, they have a prescription for that. They have the blockers, but then if they decide to come back, another prescription. It's just a financial cycle.
Isn't that crazy? I never thought of it as a pharmaceutical push, but so many things that are happening to us right now are being pushed by the pharmaceutical companies. So, I mean, I think she's brilliant, that woman or man. Okay. Professor's giving us an education. I didn't know this. Vladimir Putin signed expanded anti-LGBTQ legislation on Monday. The law was originally introduced by the lower house of Russia's legislature in October and banned so-called propaganda of non-traditional sexual relations for both adults and minors, said a statement by the State Duma. The original bill passed both the lower and upper chambers of Russian legislature before being signed into law by Putin. Isn't that interesting? I mean, I wouldn't expect anything different from Putin, but it makes you say, well, what does this guy know? I mean, because I always say if you tear apart the family, then you could tear apart America. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, also though, it's interesting he does that, considering right now he's on the hit list practically for everything.
Yeah.
So, it might not be so much also for just doing it for something he knows. It could also just be trying to distract everything, like, oh, he's doing this, let's get these people in so we could still do this, kind of like, sleight of hand almost.
Shell game. Yeah. Good.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Well, it's a really, to me, I think she brought up a great point about the pharmaceutical companies. I think we should all think about that a little bit. John will tell you it's grooming children for sexuality. Bobby said that, the pedophiles want to be known as MAPS now. They want to normalize pedophilia. So it's a lot to think about. Yeah. And very heavy for this show, but I thought it was interesting that we had a drag queen who was speaking out. But so President Biden, let's move on. Yep. President Biden went to Arizona today, and you would think that he was going to the border, right, to see what was going on. 18,000 people a day, 1,800 people a day coming over, 3 million. Nope. Here's what happened when he was asked what he was doing and why he wasn't going to the border. Watch this.
Okay, guys, President's about to take off for Arizona. Before he did, took a few questions. Want to go to that right now. Peter Ducey, first question on the border. Let's watch.
Visit the border because there's a more important thing going on. They're going to invest billions of dollars in a new enterprise.
So, more important things going on.
Yeah, I don't have a cone, but I'm sure he was just enjoying his ice cream. That's the new enterprise going on.
My
You know, Ben and Jerry's is opening a new factory down there. That's far more important.
Far more important. We had how many? We had two infants. One infant, 10-month-old, picked up leaves, and there was fentanyl pill in it, and had to be given Narcan to save their lives. And in New York, upstate, baby, their parents were doing drugs, and the baby got into it, and there was fentanyl in it, and the baby died. But there's more important things going on than the border.
Yeah.
Than the border.
Of course.
And that become, I mean, what's this about, Chris?
Well,
Why are they letting all
see,
these people in?
Well, it's not even so much that. Like, one, he's not going to go because what he doesn't see, he can't really comment. He has to base it on his advisors, and it's by no fault of his, in a sense. But
that's his whole presidency, though.
Like,
he doesn't know anything that's going on.
Yeah, but you know, they're going to keep letting him in because they're counting possibly on the votes, which the odds are they're not going to get. Because when they come in, whether or not the Republicans are busing them to New York or they're flying them out to what place is that over there? The island. Oh my God.
Venezuela? That's not an island.
No. Where Obama has a house. Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah. Whether or not the Republicans are still giving them a lot more than just, oh, come on over the border. You know, when it's on camera, they're all very nice and whatever, and so on. But at least they're saying, all right, look, we can't hold you in this state. We're going to send you somewhere else. Whether or not that's considered right or wrong, hey, I really don't know. But you know, at least they're giving them some kind of a choice to, instead of sitting there in essence in cages or sitting on the streets doing nothing. You know, you want them in, you deal with it.
Yeah, well, they're not dealing with it, but there's got to be another reason that they would want an open border like this. And you know, I don't think it's just about votes. I mean, maybe I was never a conspiracy
I think
theorist.
Somewhere in there, a touch of it.
Well, I was never a conspiracy theorist, but to me, they're letting them in because when you flood the American population with people from other countries, especially desperate people, especially people carrying fentanyl, especially criminals, you destroy the country from within. Yeah. And let's see, hold on a second. The professor says family is the core of civilizations. Values of families equals values of society, which is true. And so by destroying the family, you're chipping away at America. Bob says, I'm sure he craps his pants, not grabs his pants every time he sees Peter Doocy. I'm sure he does. Ice cream is actually supposed to stave off dementia. I think that's why they have him eating it all the time.
Hey.
It ain't working.
Then I'm covered. You know, I eat like a quart of Baskin Robbins every night. So
Angela helped you out there. Your cousin helped you out. Martha's Vineyard. Pocket Pool Joe and knee pads. President and VP or a bad 70s action flick. Or a bad. Well, I got to tell you, they make some pair, the two of them. And to think, and when you look at what the administration looks like, oh my God, not one person was picked.
It's a disaster.
Not one person was picked because of what they know and their experience. And they were picked because they conform to the message. And that's, you know, that's why we're talking about interference today. Our next clip is going to be about the Elon Musk dump that happened on Friday. Did you follow that Twitter feed, Chris?
Oh, I follow everything Elon, from SpaceX to Doge. Like,
I love him.
Yep, I love him.
Republicans want the cheap labor, Democrat want the votes, and the religious aspire the congregants. You know what, Tommy? That's really, really, really good, because that's absolutely true. You know, listen, there's no secret that we're very right-leaning here, but There are Republican swamp creatures that are in there now that are doing nothing, like Mitch McConnell, like Mitt Romney, so many others that need to go, just like Nancy.
Yeah, they gotta go.
And that was a very good observation. What did the professor? Has anyone heard about CIA and Ned? No. But tell us what's going on with the CIA. I've been looking into the FBI ever since the Twitter dump. That's my thing. Term limits needed, absolutely, but it's never going to happen.
Oh, 100%.
Convention of states gets passed. Every state needs a convention of states so that we the people can change the Constitution, and that they can't open it up to get rid of 2A. Okay, so here's the Twitter dump. We can talk over this one. I'm going to leave it up for a little while, and we can talk. We're not going to be muted. All right, so there were 29 files dumped. This one, to me, was the most important. The Dems said that the First Amendment is not absolute. While the DNC was contacting Twitter, so were the Republicans, asking them to take people off, ban people, whatever. James Woods, the actor, was actually banned and got his Twitter account removed for being a Trump supporter. But in the 29 files that were let, Elon Musk actually talked about how it was lopsided in favor of the Dems because the whole staff at Twitter were Democrats. So the really interesting thing, all right, was that there was, and I have a clip too of the 2-hour Q&A that Elon did on Saturday after the Friday file dump.
I caught most of that, actually.
Well, because we don't have a lot of time, I took 2 clips out.
Yeah.
But as you know, Chris, the chief counsel general counsel at Twitter was Jim Baker, who was famous for a former member of the FBI, famous for the Steele dossier. So they just found out, was vetting all the files that Elon was trying. What happened was Elon took all the files and gave them to reporter Matt Taibbi, who's a liberal reporter, and Barry Weiss, who used to write for the New York Times, also a liberal reporter, to write their point of view on what was going on and it was all surrounding the New York Post story. Okay, so just to catch everybody up, the New York Post ran an expose on Hunter Biden. In that expose, not only did they reveal, his coke addiction and his, gallivanting,
every addiction,
were prostitutes, but they also revealed that in his laptop, which he brought to be fixed and never claimed, and the owner of the store tried to contact Hunter, but Hunter never came to get it. So when he saw what was on it, he turned it over to the FBI, and the FBI never said that they wanted it. So he ultimately gave it. It wound up in the hands of Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani gave it to the Post. The Post wrote a story. Twitter banned it. Facebook banned it. Google banned it. Everybody banned it. And Twitter was trying to figure out a reason to ban it. They actually deplatformed the New York Post. They deplatformed Kayleigh McEnerney. They wouldn't let anybody share it. They actually used, I know I'm going on, but I'll let you speak in a second. They actually used the parameters that they use usually for pedophilia to stop
algorithms.
They wouldn't allow it to be shared privately. They wouldn't. So when Elon looked into it, it turned out that the FBI, the DNC, Democrat Congress people, all were involved in this. And I just want to give a shout out to Ro Khanna, a liberal Democrat congressperson who actually reached out to Twitter and went, "Hey, whoa, this is a violation of the First Amendment. You can't do this." But anyway, go ahead, Chris.
Well, yeah, it's definitely interesting that every amendment that's there, when it's beneficial on their side, it seems that it's based on modern day stuff. Like, oh, let's go to the Second Amendment for a second. These weapons weren't there when they wrote this. With the First Amendment, they tried with Facebook and all these other things. Oh, well, they didn't have internet back then. They didn't have this type of media. They didn't have all this. So it's funny that they turn around and they're always considering and using it's the same playbook. This wasn't what this was meant. So yeah, so because they didn't have the internet, we can suppress this. We can stop this. We can do this. It's still media. That's why it's called social media. Media is media, one way, shape, or form. News is news.
Right.
If you don't like it, then you go somewhere else. Like, people want to leave Twitter because Elon opened it up to everybody, whether or not they come back or they don't. It's still a very basic thing of social media. And if they want to keep playing this game, they're going to go back and forth, and eventually they'll lose. Because
you hope so. You hope so, but I wouldn't be so sure.
I think so.
Well, I hope you're right.
Well, not so much with Facebook.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right. I see what Elon's doing, but the problem is that since he did the Twitter dump, and we'll see that clip in a minute, the legacy news media didn't pay any attention to it, and what they're doing is they're trying to say that the reason that they wouldn't allow the story to play was because it was hacked material, which we know it wasn't. And because Hunter was naked, and so it was pornographic. They're saying it's no big deal. The fact is that what these files showed, and again, 29 files. So if you didn't do it, open a Twitter account just to follow Elon Musk and Matt Taibbi and look at what happened.
Definitely worth it.
It's definitely worth it. And also, Barry Weiss is going to also write her own story. But here's the great thing. When it was found out just over the weekend that Jim Baker was actually reviewing the files before they were being given to Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss, Elon Musk
definitely,
Elon Musk fired him. So isn't it interesting that the FBI, and we all saw it because we played it here, the FBI warned Facebook, what's his face, Zuckerberg, about that there was going to be a story coming out. Hunter Biden is going to be Russian disinformation, and Zuckerberg admitted that on Joe Rogan's program, and we played it here.
Rogan, yep.
And now we hear in testimony that the FBI was meeting weekly with social digital media companies, tops, the higher ups, all pre the 2020 election. So they were warning them that there was going to be disinformation about Hunter Biden to kill the story. Phil agreed with the late whistleblower, says National Endowment for Democracy is a money-flowing operation for covert operations to influence media and politics here in the U.S. Well, it had, and I bet you George Soros is funding the majority of it. They talk about old white guys writing the Constitution. James Madison was only 19 years old when he signed it, and others were only 18 or so. I think they were a little older, but I know that they were that young when the whole revolution started.
Because everybody fought back then. So.
Yep. And they didn't live very long either. But think about that. I mean, they had the wherewithal to found this fantastic country and to create that wonderful document. I mean, that's amazing. All right. So here's what the legacy media, and I'm calling it legacy now because these are all old cahoots. Here's what they had to say about the Twitter files dump. You would have thought, because the First Amendment is specifically written for the press, free speech. Even if you criticize the president, you can't go to jail. You can't be, nothing. You have to be able to have free press in America. And instead of doing investigative reporting to protect we the people, they were following along and just eating up whatever was given to them. Here's what the legacy media had to say about the Twitter files.
Elon Musk is calling out bias in the media as the Sunday shows on ABC, NBC, CBS, and CNN devote a total of only 7 seconds to the unprecedented information drop that exposed exactly how Twitter censored the Hunter Biden laptop story.
I think those people should be looking in the mirror and wondering why they were deceptive. Why did they deceive the American public? And instead of trying to redirect blame to Matt Taibbi, they should be accepting some responsibility themselves for not being truthful to the American public.
Joe Concha, author of Come On Man, joins us now. So, Joe, we were just talking. I don't even know how you only do 7 seconds on TV. You couldn't even do that in a reader, in between all of them. Yeah. I feel like we're back in October of 2020 now that everybody's ignoring this. What is going on? Why won't this should be right out of the open of every show?
I just timed it, Ashley. Your intro of me alone just took 27 seconds, right? So, yeah, 7's hard to do. Look. Exactly. Look, if we truly care about preserving democracy and demand total transparency, not just from traditional media, but from social media, anyone and everyone of all ideological stripes, of all news organizations should want this information out there as far as what happened behind this Hunter Biden story and why it was censored like we're in Pyongyang.
So 7 seconds. 7 seconds. That's ridiculous. All right. So now before the next clip is a long clip, but I want everybody to really listen to it. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe and hit the bell so that you can get notifications when we upload a new video. But this next one is big. This is a Twitter employee talking about how the news media actually got the information that became headline news every single day. Watch this. This one is going to blow your mind.
They claimed it was obviously Russian disinformation, right? If you look at one of the clips I posted on my timeline, it is a collage of all these MSM talking heads, for everything from Politico, which Natasha Bertrand, she was the first to kick this thing off. She was the one who claimed that the intelligence community, 50 members of them had said it was Russian disinformation, and then it just took off from there. So CNN, MSNBC, even YouTube channels that are left-leaning, we're all parroting the same narrative, the same talking points, and they said that to even share it would be, would be dangerous for democracy, right? They literally tried to shut down this whole thing, and they're all very invested in it. I mean, if you look at the people calling this expose boring, the ones who are saying that Matt Taibbi destroyed his reputation and his career for the richest man in the world, if you look at their timelines, and if you dig up what they said in 2020, they're all the same people who downplayed this whole thing. They first dismissed it as Russian disinformation, and then it was obvious that it wasn't Russian disinformation when even the New York Times had to report earlier this year that it was verified, and CBS had a great report a few weeks ago that, confirming every single aspect of that New York Post report. They all moved, they pivoted, right? They moved the goalpost and said, oh, it's just revenge porn of Hunter Biden. Right? It's a poor man. He's an addict and you're bullying him. I mean, I even saw the same talking point yesterday where a lot of people were saying that, I think it was Max, what's his face, the guy from Vox, or the editor in chief, saying that this is clearly an attack on Hunter Biden, that they're abusing this poor man. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, is abusing a former addict, a drug addict. I mean, no one buys this, right? No one except for the most hardcore reader of these these rags, these disgraces as journalists. Nobody believes this because the vast majority of people on this planet who have been, whether you've been following this news or whether, it's a tangential thing, it's got to make you pause for a moment and question what it is what it is you're being told. When you're literally told by these talking heads, by people on Twitter or on TV, telling you not to pay attention to this, that this is dangerous knowledge. What do you do? Well, the reactive action is to look into it yourself, because that is your ability, right? Unless you're a sheep, unless you're an NPC, I think most people are not NPCs. They're going to look into this and they're going to realize that they've been lied to for so many years now, and the lies just don't stop coming. When Alexander Vindman tweeted something that was attacking Elon Musk, what happened was you had all these bots, literal bots, who were repeating the same line over and over and over again, like dozens of times, to try to get his phrase to trend on Twitter. This is what they do. They use an app called Thunderclap, and some of it is automated. You have automated bots who are basically, they hone in on a single tweet, a single narrative that they want to push, and they push it out, right? Like they all say the same thing. This is why, not just a few years ago, the New York Times, every single day it would trend in the morning. And I looked into that. I was curious, why is it that the New York Times lead article, the one that is going to make, the headline news and set the tone for the entire day, why does it trend in the morning? Well, if you look it up, right, if you looked up their headlines, you will see literally hundreds of thousands of accounts, some of which are even blue check marks, even journalists, who would immediately tweet the same thing the instant the New York Times tweeted it. And this is, they're using an app called Thunderclap to do this, where they basically, it sends it to all these accounts that are signed up with it to tweet the exact same message, and gets that entire phrase to trend. That's how they were doing this. That's how they control the narrative.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy for sure. Half of these people don't even do their own tweets. Like he just said, you pay somebody, one place tweets, and it just goes right across. And this is why I love this guy. I respect him because he doesn't. First off, he has more money than anybody, so it just works out that he can do whatever and not really care about too much in terms of defamation and whatnot. He can afford it, but he just speaks it all out. And the fact that he's coming out with all this stuff is, it's going to eventually turn around. I believe that, because he's starting to make waves, and all these other companies that make money, that they don't want the waves to just pile onto them, and take them into the undertow.
Well, it sounds like you and Elon have the same idea. Listen.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not one person has control of the narrative, because there's the entire mainstream media establishment who all talk like groupthink NPCs. There's Facebook, there's Google, there's TikTok. No, the actual problem is there's one person who isn't towing the line.
Well, because I don't think you can hear me.
As soon as one person doesn't toe the line, now everyone else is looking like,
Well, now we're allowed to, Elon, and that's the issue. Is before we were at risk of being suspended or deplatformed.
You're allowing. You're showing
exactly.
people that it's possible to
this
do
is like competition does keep companies honest, or should. It is a force for keeping companies honest. So if there's a competition for the truth, and Twitter wins the competition for the truth, then it will win over the readership and the attention of the public, and everyone else will be forced to tell the truth too.
Do you think that you run the risk of the EU Commission or any of these other big political bodies trying to take you down when you're doing this?
Yes. I do not think this is a risk-free endeavor.
So like Donald Trump, Elon Musk picked up the skirts of Twitter and is showing us the dirty little secrets that are going on behind our back underneath Twitter. And firing Jim Baker, I think, was a huge move, because what the hell was a former FBI general counsel doing at Twitter? That in of itself is problematic. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, the other thing is, if you got the FBI in on Twitter, they have full say and view of everything that's going on without having to use the extra manpower. But when you turn it around, you also had everybody in Congress. Like the Congress was all Democrat. So you play ball with us. Like I've watched some of those videos with Zuckerberg there. The Republicans would rip into him. or even with I forget who the CEO of Twitter was beforehand.
Oh, Jack Dorsey.
But thank you. And they would go through all these things, but they would get the light-ended questions because they were playing ball.
Yeah.
As opposed, so, okay, we'll be nice to you. We won't take you away from this, give or take, but you play ball with us and, you're good. We're in charge. We got this.
Yeah.
One of those kinds of deals.
But that's the stuff that we see in communist China. Well, the professor says it's starting to look like Soros and CIA might be working together. Might be, Professor? I think definitely. 1.3 million in grants from Omadar Network. Open Society Foundations will expand Pointers International Fact-Checking Network. Soros plus CIA are in it together. 100%. Ralph Rubinick joined us late. Ralph, that's not Jennifer. Just to let you know. Maria says the news media has been taken over by Hollywood. More like the bots, Maria. More like the bots. So just think about this for a minute, people, because this is amazing. We've been talking about this on this show for almost a year now. And now we see the truth. The truth is that they called us election deniers. They called us insurrectionists when we said you can't, you got to question that election. What's going on? What's going on? They called us, all kinds of names, deplatformed us, shadow banned us, wouldn't let us speak, wouldn't let us get our message out. And all the while, they have been using the most powerful tools in the world to rig this 2020 election. And let me say something else. They did it in the midterms too, because Carrie Lake, they had nothing but crap to say about her. And then Herschel Walker, and I don't know, is anybody getting anything, any updates? Probably on the Walker stuff. But 88% of the news coverage of Herschel Walker was negative. So again, it goes back to these bots. It becomes an echo chamber.
And of course, you got Fetterman.
And then you got Fetterman. Oh my God, Fetterman. How the hell did Fetterman get elected? This is the destruction of America from the inside, people. This is what this is about. That's why it's more than just the 180 characters you get on Twitter or the 60-second sound bites. We have to do our homework, and we have to realize America is under siege right now from the inside. From the inside. There are bad actors with lots of money doing bad things. Thankfully, the guy with all the money wants the truth. And I just want to say this other thing. Let's just watch. Go and search that out. Look on Twitter, on Elon Musk's Twitter page, and you can find the whole 2 hours. It was mesmerizing. I wish I could have played it all for you. So go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, well, every time I hear Elon, I got to tell you, I crack open one of these. Doge, like I said, I follow Dogecoin very much, and I follow him. And right there, every time he does one of these things, another one of these get cracked open. It's great.
And what about did you see over the weekend what Sam Bankman, whatever his name is, that Momo got positive coverage all over the news. Elon Musk went from hero to zero, and that guy who stole billions of dollars from people all of a sudden has become a hero.
But you see, it's the same playbook. Same thing with Donald Trump. Like everybody loved him, and as soon as he went in, that's when all of a sudden he turned into the most worthless person in the world. Like, he means nothing. Everyone loved him, and same thing with Elon. It's the playbook over and over.
And they're using technology and digital media to make it happen. Bobby, I am a very proud deplorable, and I wear it very proudly.
Yes.
I'm also
and I wear it too.
I'm a conspiracy theorist, and my pronouns are "I told you so." When Michael Bloomberg supported the Independence Party, whose chair was a vocal anti-Semite, not a peep from the establishment. You are absolutely right. Cynthia Beale, that's how Democrats are destroyed from within. Democracies are destroyed. That's the truth. 38% in, Warnock 55, and Walker 44. That just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. If the people of Georgia put Warnock back, I mean, well, listen, your people, Chris, put Fetterman in, so
Yeah, I mean, I got no comments.
Yeah. Well, I think that, we all need to, there are some people that are saying that Elon Musk is, we got to watch out for him because he's one of the elite. Listen, as a business model, I think what Elon is doing is the smartest thing you could possibly do. And I'm going to tell you why. This is a business model. Because the deplorables who have the money, who are regular people have the money, not the billionaires that have the money, regular people that spend every day and whatever. We all left Twitter because it became impossible. I mean, you look at what they did to me. They destroyed me over. They called me a Nazi for an analogy that I made, with Bill de Blasio with the lockdowns. Okay, and that's going to follow me the rest of my life, no matter what. When you Google YouTube Leticia Remauro, first thing you see is when I was saying that the cop that de Blasio was like that fascist leader.
Yeah.
That's first thing you see, no matter how much media I've had in my life. That's the first thing you see. So Elon wants us back.
But we still love you. So
thank you. Because I'm anything but an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm the least racist person that there is. But I'll say it as it is. And I enjoy a good off-color joke every once in a while. We all do. Because I'm a realist, right? We all, we go where we identify and understand each other. That's the human way. We're clannish. But that doesn't mean there's not room for everybody. There certainly is. And I got to say something. I applaud Elon for taking Ye off of Twitter because Ye has lost his freaking mind. And he is spewing anti-Semitic crap that is very, very, it concerns me a lot because it can really do some damage. Now, do I think that speech should be monitored? No. But when somebody is doing that kind of stuff, when they're going after one particular group, especially when you have such a large platform, it's concerning to me. So hold on a second. My parents were Holocaust survivors. I knew that what you meant, and I applauded you. You know what, Ralph? Here's the interesting thing. When I said that, every single one of my Jewish friends said, "Oh, we knew exactly what you meant," But they also said to me, "But you shouldn't compare stuff to the Holocaust." And you know what? I get it. I was saying it felt like, right, the steps that were taken before everything went crazy. The stopping of businesses and all of that stuff. But you shouldn't compare anything to the Holocaust, and I understand that, and I'll never do it again. But not but. Next sentence is, it's feeling an awful lot like fascism right now. That's what it's feeling here, whether it's Cuba or Venezuela or whatever, wherever else. That's what it's feeling like right now. All right, the professor. Pirates of a century ago are smarter at voting for a leader than the American voting public. It's true. The Chinese people are out there looking for democracy and trying to overthrow communism, and the American people have voted for it. So maybe they're not actually changing ballots going to the box. Maybe they're not. I don't know. It's some funky things happened in 2020 and 2022.
Yeah.
But the fact that there is such a roar of one type of speech where the conservative thought and the conservative candidates can't get their message out, that does influence and change minds. Gina, hi, happy Tuesday. Glad to finally get you live. Thanks for joining us. We missed you, Gina. Elizabeth says, very well said. Thank you. I know I said a lot of words tonight. Chris, I'm overpowering you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. You know, my first time. So you're going easy on me.
Well, let me tell you something, Chris. You must have something Jennifer doesn't, because we've had the highest numbers that we've had ever. So, well, come on, Jennifer. We might need to renegotiate your contract, dear. All right. So back to the time when this is a president that they said had Alzheimer's, and maybe did. Listen to this, man. It's a funny little thing. He's my favorite president. I like Donald Trump, but this man was a gentleman. This man, Donald Trump is the president for now. This man was the president for the ages.
But I remember the story of a fellow who was running for office as a Republican, and he was in a rural area and it wasn't known to be Republican, and he stopped by a farm to do some campaigning. And when the farmer heard he was a Republican, his jaw dropped and he said, "Wait right here till I go get Ma. She's never seen a Republican before." So he got her, and the candidate looked around for a podium from which to give his speech, and the only thing he could find was a pile of that stuff that Bess Truman took 35 years trying to get Harry to call fertilizer. So he got up on the mound, and when they came back, he gave his speech. And at the end of it, the farmer said, "That's the first time I ever heard a Republican speech." And the candidate said, "That's the first time I've ever given a Republican speech from a Democratic platform."
Now, that's a president that had Alzheimer's. Towards the end of his presidency, he's suffering from Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see who we have now.
Soutenu par la force de nos valeurs partagées, sans se laisser décourager par les défis qui nous attendent. Et les liens que nous construisons aujourd'hui entre nos étudiants, nos entreprises, nos pionniers, permettront à notre alliance de continuer à prospérer et à se renforcer pendant les décennies à venir. Donc, bienvenue à nouveau, Monsieur le Président, et à la délégation française. Je suis honoré de vous avoir ici et je me réjouis de passer une merveilleuse journée ensemble. Que Dieu bénisse nos deux nations et que Dieu protège nos troupes.
That's a president that does have Alzheimer's, but nobody wants to admit it.
Yeah, definitely. And I couldn't tell by far, but the way the handshake was, it actually, and I'm saying this as a pun, but also seriously, it looks like he was trying to hold an ice cream cone. Yeah. Like just the way.
It looked like he was going to go in for a kiss. I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah.
That was so cringeworthy. And you see Macron tap out, a couple of times. And if you recall, when he met Hillary on the platform, when he came off of the plane, and he hugged Hillary that time, and she let her arms go, and he wouldn't let her go, and she's tapping out, and he won't let go. It's the same thing. I mean, what is he thinking?
Well, you see, he's confused now. He was trying to sniff his hair. He couldn't tell.
You know what? If you look at that clip from French news media a little later on, he was when they kissed it was too much. I wish I had time for it. We're already over almost 10 minutes. Okay, let's see. War is hell and a very dirty business. It is, Professor. Similarities between war and politics, very much so. They need to initiate Article 22 on Joe Biden. It's not going to happen. I mean, especially now, if Warnock wins tonight, that's it. The Senate now has, more voice. So we're going to have a battle between the House Republicans and the Senate. The only thing I could say is that I have a little bit more faith in McCarthy, not by much, but even he's being challenged. So, they have to have balls, and they have to recognize we're fighting for this country. And it can't be BS. It can't just be, investigation after investigation. It's got to be stuff. They've got to figure out ways to get us out of this economic crisis. They've got to figure out ways to get this country on track. But at the same time, they have to be able to prove the collusion between Vice President Biden, Hunter, China, Ukraine, Russia, and so many other places, because that's what was in that laptop. And the only way they can do that, if Elon Musk definitely allows Twitter to be a platform for free speech, because we have to learn how to use the dirty tricks the Democrats have been using. We have to learn how to use these bots. We have to learn how to project our voice. The problem with the Republicans always, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Republican, but this is what attracted me to the party, is that we were always about putting your head down and working. Let the people be. Let them go to work, pay their taxes, let them be, get out of their lives. The Democrats were always the opposite. Go ahead.
Well, I actually have to disagree a little bit on that, and this is going to show my nerd side. But in Star Trek, all right, they have the Prime Directive. All right, anyone ever watching Star Trek Voyager? They're trapped in a distant galaxy area, and they never lose that Prime Directive, or they lose themselves. If we try to play their dirty tricks, we lose who we are. Eventually, like they did, you'll get your way home if you follow the same path that you always have. It's going to be a rough ride, as we've seen, but you wait and you stick to your guns, you stick to your morals, and it'll turn around. It just takes time, unfortunately.
Touche. That you're right. When I say we've got to learn their dirty tricks, what I mean by that is early voting, right? Early voting, they really focus on early voting. We don't. We wait till election day. And then what happens? Machines break down. Like, look at what happened in Arizona with Kari Lake. Things can happen to deter people from voting for you.
Yeah.
So we've got to learn to do that where it's allowed, ballot harvesting. We've got to take advantage. I call them dirty tricks, but they change the rules. If they change the rules, we have to learn those rules and play within those rules and use our smarts about it. I'm not saying we should change who we are.
No, yeah.
I'm saying we need to use the mechanics better.
Gotcha. I misunderstood that.
No, that's okay. I'm glad you called me out on it. It's important. All right, Bobby. See you next week. Thanks for staying with us. Government is extremely good at destroying wealth. Well, but Professor, it seems like government is also being controlled by the wealthy elite. So, it's good at destroying wealth for the people, but not for the people at the top. So, all right, Chris, I'm going to give you the last word. What do you want to say before we sign off? We're 12 minutes over.
Well, all right. Well, real quick then, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you everyone out there for tolerating me throughout my comments, throughout all these times. And I look forward to another time, if Jen is out,
Well,
then we'll see where it goes.
I was jealous of your lipstick because it was better than mine. And I thank you for being here. And I thank you because it was the highest ratings the show has ever had. So if you're watching
next time, I got to remember that curler.
Eyelash curler first. I think that's why we had such good ratings. So if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell. We always tell the truth. And we love Elon Musk. And, at the end of the day, it's not about people that we follow, but our right stuff. It's about the truth. We'll always tell you the truth, and we're going to dig deeper. So till next week, everybody. Thank you, Chris, for joining. We really appreciate it. And thanks, guys, for sticking with us over 12 minutes. Bye.
Night.